those communities, and it is why we are all so focused on ensuring that more regional Australians can earn more and keep more of what they earn. For the 1st of July, every single Australian taxpayer will receive a tax cut, including those who live in our regions. After the 1st of July, any Australian worker pulls out their paycheck, what they'll see is that there is more money in their pocket and less being paid in tax. An apprentice on $53,000 a year will receive a tax cut of $1,000, and a truckie earning $77,000 a year will get a tax cut of $1,604. A nurse on $73,000 a year will get a tax cut of $1,504. $804. Now, of course, that is all good news for Australians, and who on earth could possibly want to stand in that? We know that those opposite were not really keen to support any tax cuts at all. We had, of course, the Deputy Leader of the Opposition out there.
You're live. I'm on YouTube.
And Senator Hume out there just in the last few days saying
It's Shane. What's up, lads?
Their first instinct was to oppose Labor's tax cuts, and ever since they've made it clear that really what they'd like to do is take them away. They simply couldn't help themselves. It's in their DNA. They want to see less money in Australians' pockets. They want to see Australians working more and earning less. Absolutely, working more and earning less. Under Labor, what we've seen, voters' growth is double, and what it averaged under the Liberals and Nationals, and our tax cuts help every single regional Australian. Australians to keep more of the money that they earn and to earn more money as they go along. But what we've seen, of course, from those opposite is there is not a cost of living measure that they don't oppose. Whether it has been cheaper childcare, whether it's been cheaper medicines, whether it was energy bill relief. The decisions that you make in this place matter. You might go and say one thing out there in your electorates when it comes to help to buy or things like that. But what actually matters is what you do in this place to support regional Australians, and all those opposite do is say no, 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 no.
Order. Call to the Manager of Opposition Business.
My question is to the Minister for Immigration, Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs. Out of the 149 hardcore criminals released by the Albanese government, how many rapists and sex offenders, apart from the one who's just been charged with sexual assault, remain at large in the community?
Give a call to the
It's Shane.
Citizenship.
What's up, Adelaide?
Thank you, Speaker. I thank the Manager of Opposition Business for this question, which is a question that I answered in the last sitting week when I informed the House that because of the strict visa conditions, including reform requirements and electronic monitoring community, the location of every individual on this payroll is known. And I remind him and those opposite of what the Federal Police Acting Deputy Commissioner said in his quote. I don't think there is any difficulty knowing where they are. Now, unlike some of those opposite, I have complete faith in our law enforcement officials' ability to keep us safe, and they are working around the clock to do just that. And I remind them again that we have worked to give them the tools they need to enforce the strict laws we passed in the Parliament last year, including an additional $4 for our law enforcement efforts.
I don't want to do it up.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Aged Care.
It's Shane.
Is the Albanese Labor government investing in aged care to support older Australians and the workers who care for them?
Give a call to the Minister for Aged Care and Sport.
Yeah. I think we're a hustle to her question on the eve of the third anniversary of the Royal Commission's Aged Care Quality and Safety Commission's report being tabled in this place. A report which described a sector that had styled into crisis to a lack of leadership, integrity and accountability. A system of secrecy had been hard won. Australians have the right to know how the aged care system is performing. Their government has a responsibility to design and to operate a system that tells them that. And aged care providers have a responsibility to monitor, improve, and be transparent about the kind of care they provide. These are three very simple principles that for too long were put into one basket. That was until the now Prime Minister's 2022 budget applied, where he made a promise to Australians that transparency and accountability be brought back to aged care. To deliver new funding, more staff, and better support to the aged care sector. To be transparent about how the sector is funded, to ensure the levels from today, older Australians and their families can now go on My Aged Care and see how much they are spending on their care, their food, their wages, and more, alongside their star ratings profile. This transparent tool will hold providers to account and ultimately give people the full picture to make informed decisions about their care. We are shining a light on the aged care sector, the good and the bad. We recognise the majority of aged care providers and their staff are working hard to deliver high quality and safe care. That is why we delivered a historic pay rise for aged care workers to recognise their efforts in lifting the standard of care across the country. And under the Albanese government, there is now a registered nurse on site in aged care 98.7% of the time on average. That's 23.6 hours a day.
Good.
People are receiving an additional 2.16 million additional minutes of care every single day. The average sector level investment in the workforce has increased by 19%, and there has been a reduction in the number of pressure injuries, of physical restraints, and of significant unplanned weight loss. We are also seeing improvements in the star ratings data, with fewer 1-2-star rating facilities and more 4- and 5-star rating facilities. The Albanese government has brought aged care back from the brink, and looking forward to make sure the system is capable of sustaining this progress now and well into the future.
The next step of immigration citizenship affairs. Over 149.5 million criminals released by the Albanese government. How many rapists and sex offenders have re-offended since their release? According to the Minister for Immigration, Citizenship and Education Affairs.
Thank you very much, Speaker, and I thank the member for this question. As I've said previously to the House, where individuals offend or breach their visa conditions, they will face the consequences. They will face those consequences which will matter for state or Commonwealth law enforcement agencies.
To the other women.
Stream all day, every day I'm just going to stream, YouTube streaming.
Thank you, Speaker. And my question is to the Minister for Education. What is the Albanese Labor government doing in education to open the doors of opportunity wider for more Australians?
Talk to the Minister for Extraction.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker, and thank you from the legendary member of Newcastle. On the weekend, I opened Western Sydney University's new study hub in Fairfield with my great mate, the Minister for Climate Change and Energy. It's where we grew up. And it's also where I released the University's Award final report. And I did it there on purpose. That new university hub is
Just a middle-aged man. Fuck. Just fucking bored as fuck, mate. Fucking playing with lasers, watching Parliament. It's Shane, what's up, lads? It's up Adelaide. Yeah, brother. Fuck. Do some drugs. It's Shane. Come on, good.
Albums of all time that just come out, of course, I mean, Guns N' Roses' Appetite for Destruction.
Shine, good. Yeah.
Still only about half the national level. That's what this hub's about. That's what the accord is about changing that, breaking down that invisible barrier that stops the from the outer suburbs from getting the university. And it's an even bigger issue in the regions. That's why we're doubling the number of university study hubs across the country. 14 in the outer suburbs and 20 more in the regions. And in the next few weeks, I'll announce the first 10 of those new regional university study hubs, bringing the university closer to where Aussies live. It's all part of what the Prime Minister talks about, opening the doors of opportunity. We want Australians to learn more. And going to TAFE, the university is kind of going to TAFE, but going to university helps you to learn more. If you've got a uni degree, you earn an average of 30 grand more than someone whose last year of education was year 12. We also want Australians to keep more of what they earn. $1,500. A teacher on 80 grand will get a tax cut of more than $1,600. And an engineer on 90 grand will get a tax cut of more than $2,000. Every taxpayer gets a tax cut.
That lighting. That's heaps better lighting, eh?
Australians to learn more and keep more of what they earn.
You see better with that light, eh?
All 149 of the hardcore criminals of the Albanese government release were being continuously monitored. Was this serial sex offender being continuously monitored at the time he was alleged to have sexually assaulted?
Wasn't hell. It's noise.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the
Could
Minister
actually
for
be
Sport and
nerve crying.
Training. How is the Albanese local government providing real cost of living relief and helping more Australians skip into better paid, secure jobs while keeping more of what they earn?
Just a middle-aged fuck. 44 years old. Yeah. Shine.
Speaker, the government's inherited a very significant skill shortage in arguably the worst in 50 years. We've moved to education and training to ensure we supply skills and knowledge in areas of existing now.
See, that looks pretty good, eh?
And focuses on skill shortage areas. And this includes occupations in the care economy, the IT sector, traditional trades, the energy sector going through such a significant transition, just to name a few. And I'm pleased to inform the House that 350,000 Australians have now enrolled in these free-food TAFE courses, almost double that of the target we set ourselves after the Jobs and Skills Summit. And of course, these courses are providing skills to workers. Speaker, like any good government policy, it serves more than one end and it benefits many. It removes cost barriers to much needed skills for students, for trainees, for apprentices, for workers. And it provides a pipeline of skills to businesses and the labour market more broadly. And in doing so, it provides more carers to care for older Australians. It provides more electricians to help with the transition of the energy sector. And these workers, in fact, all 13.6 million taxpayers will be getting a tax cut on the 1st of July because of the actions of this Prime Minister and this government.
And Speaker, remarkably, 84% of these taxpayers will be better off than they would have been under the Liberal plan. And so, Speaker, what we're seeing here with the rise of real wages is that we're seeing workers in this country earn more and keep more of what they earn. And, Speaker, I'm asked about whether there's been responses to this. Well, by way of contrast, the opposition leader has no plan, no policy, not even a thought bubble when it comes to addressing cost of living pressures in this country. Doesn't support cheaper medicines, doesn't support cheaper childcare, doesn't support free TAFE. In fact, Spence may well vote in favour of the tax plan, but as we know, has spoken against Labor's tax plan. Does not support these things. Speaker, this is an opposition that is carping, whinging, and has no plans for Australia's future, no plans to supply the skills to workers, no plans to supply the skills to businesses, and more broadly, no plans to provide the skills and knowledge to our economy.
Keep the calls on for Claire.
To the Prime Minister. The great Aussie dream of home ownership was once the birthright of every Australian, but with the housing affordability crisis, it's slipping away and every member of this House knows it. My private member's bill will place a 2-year ban on the foreign purchase of homes in Australia, taking pressure off the market straight away. Earlier today, neither your government nor the opposition supported it. That's no support from the major parties. Why? Why won't your government give more Aussies a shot at the great Australian dream by supporting my bill?
Call to the Minister for Housing, Homelessness and Small Business.
Thanks, Mr. Speaker, and I want to thank the member for Claire for that question. I also want to thank him for his ongoing interest in housing and addressing our nation's housing challenges that we do have. As I said to him earlier, I also want to thank him for his support for the Help to Buy. And in the long list of support from the crossbench, I did forget the member from Mayo, who I also want to thank for support for Help to Buy. Can I say, Mr. Speaker, we do know that Australians are finding it more difficult to get a safe, affordable place to call home, which is why, of course, we do want to invest in supply.
No, you calm down, mate. Don't worry about the cut though, anyway. You just want to fucking chop his head off. See, for the record, I want to kill my uncle. Fuck Chomo. Fucking pedophile.
As we discussed earlier in the chamber, in some limited
Yeah, he's taking a shower right now, like, fucking kill him. Just fuck, cut his head off.
Sell it or rent it out when
Fuck,
they leave.
cunt.
A foreign owner's vacancy tax applies.
Hey, the internet knows now, mate. The internet knows now, John.
Mr. Speaker, we recently introduced into
toy
this
gang.
House, and it's now going to the Senate, legislation that will triple the foreign investment fees for established houses and double the vacancy fees for foreign investors. The higher fees for established dwellings will encourage all foreign buyers to invest in new housing developments, boosting housing stock for Australians that need it. Mr. Speaker, we want to encourage investment in new dwellings. We don't want to encourage people to be buying existing properties. We want to encourage people to be investing in new dwellings to add to supply. And that's what our change is about. Whilst I understand where the member's coming from with this legislation, as I said earlier, we're not in a position to support it because we have a lot of policies, a broad, ambitious housing agenda that will add to supply. And I've run through them numerous times in this House, Mr. Speaker, and I'd say to the member opposite, I'm happy to have a conversation with you about housing supply in this country.
We call to number 4, Parramatta.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is for the Minister for Industry and Science. How will the Albanese Labor government's tax cuts support Australians working in STEM? What is standing in the way of supporting STEM workers?
Keep it order. We don't need any sound effects from members on my right either. We call to the Minister for Industry and Science.
Thanks, Speaker. I just want to thank the member for Parramatta, who's had a long-standing interest and knows full well the job opportunities that emerge when you build skills in science, technology, engineering and maths.
Member for
And
Fisher.
Australian STEM workers, highly sought after, not just here, but world over, because our training systems, particularly in STEM, are some of the best according to the OECD. Our government highly values STEM workers. We want to grow the STEM workforce. In fact, we want to see 1.2 million Australian workers in tech-related jobs by 2030. But importantly, we want their salaries, their wages to grow, and we want them to keep more of what they earn. And that's why we're giving tax cuts to nearly every single STEM worker. In the tech space, for example, an IT worker in Darwin earning $69,000 They're up for a $1,404 tax cut. A software engineer in Derek in the western suburbs of Melbourne earning $95,000, they'll get $2,054 tax cut. And a data analyst in Adelaide earning $90,000, they will get a $1,929 tax cut.
Casey,
Now, Mr. Speaker, there's another class of STEM worker who will also benefit. I alluded the other day to a certain strategic consultant who might have been employed by the coalition. I'm not going to go back there, but if your name's George and you're a marine biologist, then if you're earning $65,000, $4,067, he'll earn a tax cut for $1,316, and thanks to the Gen Xers who aren't that one. Mr. Speaker, those opposite, they like to talk up the value of STEM, did nothing to tackle the skill shortages that crippled those firms needing talent. And just as we address the challenge, while we were pushing for tax cuts to deliver cost of living relief, what do we get out of those opposite? Oppose, support, criticise, vote for. The Liberal and National parties, they called our tax cuts an egregious error, and then they voted for it. They called the tax cuts regressive, and they voted for it. They called the tax cuts small fry, and they voted for it. We come to the part of question time called, what did the Deputy Leader of the Opposition say? She went full Churchillian mode, saying, we will fight this legislation in Parliament, then voted for it. After they voted for our tax cuts, they then turn around and say it's back to the drawing board. And this is what happens. You know, the coalition speaker get jammed into a policy cul-de-sac because they stand for nothing and oppose everything. This is their constant problem. We value Australian STEM talent. We want them to earn more. We want them to keep more. We want them to be put to work for the better benefit of the Australian economy.
In the House that the member for Fisher is on and the member for Casey after 11 continuous interjections is now warned. So no more interjections from the member for Fisher or the member for Casey. Keep the culture on the Deacon.
My question's to the Minister for Immigration, Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs. When did the Minister inform the Prime Minister that this serial sex offender had committed new crimes against the Victorian community?
Call to the Minister for Immigration, Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs.
Thank you, Speaker, and I thank the Honourable Member for Deakin for his question. These are matters that are managed in the ordinary manner. Law enforcement officials advised me, and I've engaged in the appropriate course since then.
Keep the call. Keep the call. Order. Order. The member for Hume. When the House comes to order, when we have order, the people member coming.
Thank you, Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Workplace Relations. While the Albanese Labor government's agenda is helping Australians to earn more and keep more of what they earn, are there any risks that would cause them to have to work longer for less?
You call to the Minister for Employment, Industrial Relations and the Minister for the Arts.
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker, and I thank the member for Cunningham with a question that draws together all the threads of the last few weeks, because indeed you go through the 3 parliamentary sitting weeks we've had, and we had the first 2 where the legislation went through first the Senate and then the House for people to be able to earn more. And we have this week where the legislation has gone through the Senate for people to be able to keep more of what they earn. And against all of that, when we had the first legislation for people to earn more, those opposite were really angry about it and voted against it. On the tax cuts, those opposite voted for it, but were still really angry about it. Angry about it to the extent that, have a look at the amendment. The amendment that they voted for in the House and in the Senate, which said that what we should have was a reform package that is, and I quote, in keeping with the stage 3 tax cuts. That would mean 84% of people get a tax hike. That's what that would mean. And they all voted for it here in the House and again in the Senate for 84% of Australians to get a tax hike. But the commitment from those opposite is that they will come on people's rights at work, they will come forward with a targeted package of repeals. That's how they describe it. No one said they had to use the word targeted, but that's how they described it. And we know that means they will target people's wages. That means they will target people's job security. They will target safety at work. And we know from the last week, they'll target the measures that have been delivering a closing of the gender pay gap. But the first policy that they've decided is the worst of all the ideas. The first policy that they've committed that they'll take to the next election is to undo the right to disconnect. The particular policy that allows people to have some time off. The policy that is now law that says when you're not being paid, you don't have to work. There are forms of engagement for workers in world history where that principle didn't apply. But generally it is accepted. If you're working, you're meant to be paid. But while they'll oppose the right to disconnect for workers, I'll tell you what, it's a right that the Leader of the Opposition is willing to take for himself. Because if it's anything about the cost of living, he'll exercise his right to disconnect. If it's about getting wages moving, he'll disconnect. If it's about rights for casuals, he'll disconnect. And if it's about being allowed any time off at all, the right to disconnect is there for the Leader of the Opposition. He'll disconnect from anything that improves the rights of Australian working people, but always to take that right to disconnect for himself and allow it for no one else.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. This week, I introduced my End Pork Barrelling Bill. My bill would stamp out the practice of the major parties using taxpayer money to win votes. More than 80% of Australians think this is corrupt conduct. They're sick of it and they want to see it end. Prime Minister, do you agree that pork barrelling is corrupt conduct? And will you commit to working with me to stamp it out?
Call to the Prime Minister.
I thank the member for Indi for her question, and I appreciate the work that the member has undertaken and a very strong and long-standing interest in ensuring that taxpayers' money is effectively managed through these grants programs. The member for Indi was a very strong supporter of the creation of a national anti-corruption commission. And one of the first acts of my government was to introduce the legislation, to carry the legislation, to put it in place, and it is now up and running, effectively funded, effectively operating out there. An important piece of legislation where we caught up with what most states and territories have done some time ago. I am aware of the Minister's bill that she has introduced into the Parliament. We'll go through this like any other piece of private members' legislation or senators' legislation in the usual methodical way that we do, following a proper process. The Finance Minister, I can inform the member for Indi, has asked her department, in the place, Senator, the good senator, has asked her department for advice to strengthen the Commonwealth Grants framework, including possible enhancements to the Commonwealth Grants rules and guidelines to improve integrity, accountability, probity and transparency. As part of this work, recommendations that have been put forward by the Australian National Audit Office and the JCPAA in this place, the Joint Committee, in relation to grants are being considered. Enhancements to the grants framework are under consideration, and the Finance Minister will be making announcements once they are finalised.
Call to the Honourable Member for Fraser.
My question is to the Minister for Financial Services. How can a lack of financial advice harm consumers already impacted by the cost of living? And what is the Albanese Labor government doing to protect consumers from this?
The call to the Minister for Financial Services and Institution Trade.
Thanks, Speaker. Can I thank the outstanding member for Fraser for his question?
Who I think it
And
was.
I take the opportunity
I think it
to
might have been,
acknowledge his work, the outstanding work he's doing as the chair of the
House Economics Committee a steady hand, particularly given the issues that they're dealing with, particularly around insurance affordability and the claims handling. So I pay tribute to the great work he's doing. Now, it's true that the Albanese government wants Australians to earn more money and keep more of the money that they earn. And if they're able to save that money or invest that money, we want to ensure that that money is kept safe. Because we understand you can't keep people safe unless you're keeping their money safe. And unfortunately, when we came into government, the place was in a complete mess. Losses to scammers had doubled, and they've doubled, and they've doubled again, because the members' officer thought if somebody wants their money to scammers, they were marks. Well, we take a different view. We understand that these are sophisticated international criminal gangs, and we're going to go after them. They're accessing that information on Facebook or Instagram, publishing criminal material, taking innocent Australians' money, left to run wild by members' officers, but we're going after them. Now, of course, one of the reasons that Australians have been accessing that information from Facebook or Instagram is because under members' officers, under their governments, we had fewer and fewer and fewer doors for people to get financial advice from, because under their watch, 12,000 financial advisors left the industry. No new entrants came in. They were asleep at the wheel. They're changing all of that because we understand not only have we got to cut down on the scammers, but we've got to ensure that there are safe doors for Australians to enter, to get good information and good advice and expert advice that they can rely on to keep their money safe. So we've got a program of work which is rolling out expert advice, including from the member for Fraser, informing government policies, all received by the industry. And I want to take the opportunity to give a shout out to the members on the crossbench who have also engaged with me on this. A number of the new members to Parliament on the crossbench have engaged with me on this, and I thank them for their engagement because it's been very useful in the formulation of our policy. And I'd also say to members of the opposition that I'd be willing to engage with them on these issues. But today is 299 days since they had a spokesperson for financial services or consumer affairs. 299 days, which shows they are participating. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, the immigration minister is a disaster. His decisions have put Australians at risk.
The Attorney General yelling during a question is highly disorderly, and you are wrong. I respectfully yield to begin his question again.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, the immigration minister is a disaster. His decisions have put Australians at risk, and women in Victoria are alleged to have been sexually assaulted. 149 hardcore criminals. We will show leadership. Stop being so weak and sack this minister. We are not in a position to define and no one is suggesting that they should do that. Not my words, the words of Senator Harrison. The Constitution, you can't retain someone unlawfully. Not my words, the words of the opposition. The High Court's made the decision, we respect that decision. But I words, the words of the Minister of Immigration.
strength. I tell you what strength is not. Strength is not very responsible for the endangered judicial process. That is not strength. There is no strength whatsoever in that. And what is important is that the leader of the opposition knows very much opposition, including he was responsible for the legislation his legislation that he presided over, and he knows that is the case.
Really call to the honourable
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And my question is to the Minister for Health. What actions is the Albanese Labor government taking to make it easier for Australians to see a doctor? And why is Medicare ultimately fundamental to a strong Medicare? And why is the government so determined to strengthen Medicare after a decade of cuts and others?
But they want to know your body count.
Thanks, Speaker, and thanks to Minister Robertson for that question. He argued so passionately in this place for making bigger tax cuts, which passed the Parliament this week, and will deliver a tax cut on July 1st for every single one of 66,000 taxpayers in his electorate. Registered nurse at the Gloucester Hospital who receive a tax cut of more than $1,600, or about double what they would have got under the Morrison government plan. He is also a huge supporter of bulk billing. As an emergency physician, because they came in the front door every single day. But that pressure on bulk billing that we encountered, Mr. Speaker, was no accident. It was a deliberate policy of the federal government, and in particular of the now leader of the opposition, who is the health minister. Remember, Mr. Speaker, when he was health minister, he famously said there were too many free Medicare services, Mr. Speaker. On Radio National, in August 2014, Mr. Speaker said about 4 out of 5 GPs are free for free, and that is too high. That is too high. Comment that would cheer up the spines of every community that has a policy rate of around 4.5 GPs. Now, if you want to cheer up the communities, what would this electoral junction? A bulk billing rate of about
'Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The opposition. No, it hasn't come to order. You have to be free to get this that can also be held in silence. So you must come forward.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Prime Minister. How is the Albanese Labor government providing Australians with help to buy a home? And how has this been received? What are the barriers to this help being provided?
You talk to the
Thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. Well, we are indeed trying to do our best to help Australians with life and help the last years. And I'm asked about how it's been received, shared equity schemes. Indeed, the Queensland LNP leader has said this. We will prioritise building an incentive framework to support home ownership in so many areas, including first-time management as well. Shared responsibility schemes. Jeremy Rockwood, the Tasmanian Premier, has said this. Innovative programs like the successful My Home Shared Equity Program, which helps Tasmanians build or purchase a property. But he's on board. Dominic Heritage set up the school in New South Wales.
Financial laws, member projections for the
So, my name is Evan Franco.
Injections, otherwise we will follow member petition.
Mr. Speaker, the former Premier, Heritage, said this. Key workers, single parents and older singles will be able to have the security of home ownership and the government's equity share in a property. He was certainly on board. But not everyone's on board, Mr. Speaker.
The guy that smashed the bedroom, right?
Those officers have policies where they speak about having super for homes.
You don't know?
Prime Minister
You would know because you guys watch Mission Force, but
it was a
long
thoroughly
story short,
bad
yeah,
idea.
that
That
long
is not
story
what the
short,
superannuation system is designed to achieve.
I
Now,
know
I know
that.
there's obviously a whole lot of agreement now. And this occasionally, like the Liberal Party said this, I think Malcolm Turnbull has got it right. It's not the policy of agreement, you don't fuel the prices. The deputy leader said this, young people need their super for retirement, not to try to take pressure off an urban housing
Like,
budget.
I don't get paid for that. No, I don't get paid for that. I'm not my guy, I'm not my husband, and it's probably like low life, their relationship
So
status,
this,
like,
remember, for
I had
deputies,
that, it didn't work out, I'm not my husband,
inevitably,
back,
you get,
like,
all you do is
that's
push
all.
up prices. But it's not just that, of course. Because the Greens for the party are also working. The medical group said on insiders, we have enough money for people to live in, don't need any of that. And it's like it's back to the 2022 election platform. And it says this, this is why the Greens will establish a shared equity council. Notwithstanding the radars, but he then went on to say you shouldn't have to win a lottery to secure a home. And his own website says this, wait for this one. For example, the Greens vision for housing investment is to have any
I'll give a podcast, he gets this whenever he wants to.
And a lot of member of Australian parents are being targeted by child predators and dating apps, according to a report out today. Australian Institute of Criminology surveyed 10,000 dating app users and found that 1 in 8 of them had received requests to facilitate child sexual exploitation or abuse. Fashion technology reporter Angela Pierre is following this story.
What Australian Institute of Criminology did was ask those 10,000 Australians whether they had received one or more of about 5 different requests while using a dating app, all signing on that dating app. So they asked Australians if they'd received a request for images of either their child or a child in their life, also requests for images of a sexual nature of that child, requesting meet those children, or had thought it was appropriate to do so, requests for information of a sexual nature about those children, and then in extreme cases an offer of payment for photos or videos or live streams
those children. So yeah, it's incredibly sad stuff. The man was the first item on that list of access for photos of children. We can imagine that there are innocent, motives in some cases to ask them at least you can imagine an innocent, innocuous scenario. But what the research has found that most of the time that wasn't actually the case. So about half of the people who had been asked for an image also reported being pressured to provide sexual images of children. 69% reported being asked questions of sexual nature about the children, and in 63% of cases where someone had already been asked for an image, they were then offered payment for photos, videos, or live streams of the children. So yeah, it's rarely innocent and more often sinister, as this report found. And the survey also found predators target some parents and others.
Here's the deal, guys. We were gonna hang out as best friends. Like, if you want to really be my friend.
Tell me
where we go. You hate goals.
Alright,
so goals is
First Nations
we go to dinner.
people who didn't speak English as their first language, people with a disability, people with a range illness, all more likely to be targeted
I can have it alone, but I can't have it
predators and these platforms, which tells you something about, I guess, their MO. Additionally, there's also behaviour that can put you at higher risk. For example, if
I just found out I
you
had the
like
allergy.
an external social
Yeah,
media
today we
account
just got the
to your
doctor's call.
dating app profile,
What did he say?
that
The
can
doctor
place
said, stay
you
with
at
me.
higher risk as well.
Andrew,
Meaning that,
you have
perhaps
an allergy
some
to
predators are in fact,
sushi.
I guess, trawling other platforms as well and making that connection themselves. Interestingly, the report didn't find a gender skew, so even though we do know that most perpetrators are male, there was no, I guess, bias in the data towards people who date men. So let's take a listen to what Dr. One of the report's authors had to say.
What's so good about this stream, man? Fuck it. It's fucking shit. Come on, who's gonna watch it live?